Hi, guys. I'm here, not in France, in Liverpool, England. Plans changed. I need to get Instagram up. Hold on. I'm a little running behind today. Hold on a second. You guys will stay with me, won't you? Of course you will. Let's see if I can get this to work. All right. Go. How is everybody? How y'all doing? Whoops. I think I have that going in the wrong direction, facing the... Yeah, we got to turn that around. How do I turn it around? Oh, okay. Sorry, you guys. Oh, there, I can turn it around there. All right. Hi, Instagram people. Hi, everybody. I'm in England still. We were going to go to France, and then now we moved France to the end of the month. So I will eventually get there. We just kind of bad planning on my part. I didn't buy my tickets in advance, and then it was last minute tickets, and it was very expensive. What a crazy surprise that was. How long have I been alive? I don't know these things already. Ay. Lots of magical things happening today. We went to see the exhibit at the British Music Experience in Liverpool. It was fabulous. I got to see Mark Bolan's sparkly jacket and David Bowie's sweater, leggings, and all kinds of fun rock and roll things. So it was very fun. All right, so let's see what questions you guys have. Hi. Let's see what you got going on. Next Sunday is Easter, and I think I'm going to be going to a concert that night. Am I going to be? Yes, so I will not be here next week. I'm going to take Easter off and go see Mott the Hoople instead, because 8 o'clock will be prime time. Little crazy thing about England, all the shows start very different than Los Angeles. Everything in Los Angeles starts at 11 o'clock p.m. and everything in England ends at 11 o'clock p.m. Done. Music starts at 7:30 on the dot. Each band plays like 30, 45 minutes. And then 11 o'clock, they bring out the hook. And everybody goes on the tube home. So, I mean, at least in London, that's how it was. But anyway, Easter Sunday, we will be seeing Mott the Hoople. And so I will not be with you then. But I will see you probably the following Sunday, right? 28th? Yeah, okay. And then I'll be coming home then very soon. May I'll be back home doing readings again. Mail order still going on while I'm gone. And then I'll be coming and traveling all over the United States, coming to see you guys in all kinds of different places all over. First stop is going to be Sacramento at the end of May. So if you're in Sacramento, or if you know someone in Sacramento, I will be seeing you at, my brain isn't working. Hold on. I will be seeing you at the, I'm so disorganized. That's why I had to pay. That's why the tickets to France would have been so much money, because I'm Light Weavers in Sacramento on May 23rd and 24th and the 25th, doing readings and teaching a class in candle magic. So come and see me, people of Sacramento. I want to see you. All right. Well worth the trip out to Sacramento if you're nearby. Come see me. Yes. I will be there. All right. So let's get into questions. All right. Let's get into questions. Let's go and see what we got going on. Write your questions in now, and I'll get to them. First come, first serve. You know how it works here. Hi, everybody on YouTube. Benny has a question. Hello, Madam Pamita. Can you talk about your experience working with Hotfoot? Yes, Hotfoot. Let's talk about Hotfoot. We haven't talked about Hotfoot. I don't even think we've ever talked about Hotfoot on this Q&A. So Hotfoot spells come from hoodoo. Hotfoot spells, it sounds like a wacky practical joke, but it's not a practical joke. Hotfoot is no joke. So just like things have degrees, we have things like influence is a very gentle kind of control, and domination is a very hard kind of control. We have that same kind of energy with banishing. Banishing being a sort of neutral, get something or someone out of your life. Hot foot being one of the extreme versions of that. So hot foot is like, get the F out of my life. It is meant to get somebody away, but also to kind of mess with them too. So sometimes people go to hot foot. They think, I just want to get rid of this person. I want them out in a situation. I want to get rid of my, boss, or I want to get rid of my pesky neighbor, or I want to get rid of, my ex, or, I want to get rid of my ex's lover, whatever. And they just want to get rid of that person or want that person banished, but they think what they have to do is hot foot. And so I always sort of recommend, it's like taking out the nuclear weapons when really all you need is the basics. You don't need to be doing hot foot for every darn thing. Um, so banishing is probably where you want to start with any kind of removal. However, hot foot sometimes does become necessary. And this is a situation that you have to kind of check in with your guides, check in with your deities, check in with your own spiritual path to see if hot foot is something that is necessary. Like, for example, if somebody was physically or sexually abusing my kid, I would have no problem hot footing them because I'm a mama bear and I will protect my cubs. But that's like an extreme thing, right? That's something that, there's a physical violence or someone's in danger or something like that. It's not like, I just don't like that person. I don't like my neighbors. I don't like my neighbors. I want better neighbors. That is not a case for hot footing. Hot footing traditionally is done by, it's super old traditional hoodoo. It's done by foot track magic. So you're doing something that they're going to step in. You can use hot foot sachet powder. You can make a hot foot, sachet yourself, or you can buy a prepared one, or you can make some hot foot, ingredients, and you sprinkle it and you put it on something that they will potentially step in. Now, if you can't put it where they will step, then you can put it on something that they will touch, a doorknob, a door handle, whatever. But I think a lot of people go to hot foot when really what they want is banishing. They confuse hot foot with banishing. So I really tried to clarify that for people that first start with the banishing, see if that works. You don't want to necessarily every person that you want out of your life, you don't want to destroy their life. And that's what hot foot is meant to do, destroy someone. It's meant to really, really screw things up for them, not just get them out, but get them out and destroy their life. And so before you jump into hot foot, check in with your own check in with your own guides, check in, is this justified? Check in, is this something that is necessary, or will a banishing work just as well? And you won't have what we would say, like the karma on it. Or if you are, somebody that believes in sin, the sin of that, destroying somebody on your soul, on your karma. So that's what you want to think about. All right, so let's see what we got over on Instagram. Hi, Instagram folks. Say hello to the queen. I remember my friend Michael's like, say hello to the queen. I will. I'll pop in. I'll just give her a call. Hello. I'd like to make an appointment with the queen. Oh, okay. Later this week. All right, perfect. When's Meghan Markle's baby going to happen? I want that to happen while I'm here. I'm supposed to get a tea towel for Meghan Markle new royal infant tea towel, and I can't do that if that baby doesn't happen while I'm here. All right, Michael, I'll tell her this. I'll send a picture of me and the queen hanging out. Perfect for bedtime. Yeah, we're doing bedtime. It's bedtime now. How's London? I'm in London too. Bradley Dean says I'm in London too. I'm not in London anymore. I'm up in Liverpool. I'll be going back to London before I go back, sort of at the end of the month. But right now I'm in Liverpool. I'll be going to Manchester. I'll be going to Birmingham, and then I'll be going to Paris to practice my French and eat really good food and drink really good wine. Not that we haven't got good food here and good booze here, but French. All right, what have we got? Schizosaurus Rex. Okay, Schizosaurus Rex. Hey, Madam Pamita, I was wondering if you could talk about shadow work, what it is, and how you begin. Well, my belief and understanding about shadow work is work that doing secretively. It's work that you're doing that may be gray, what we would call gray magic, or some people call black magic or gray magic. You're doing, you're working in a way that is not love and light. My kind of working is pretty love and light, I have to say. So I'm probably not the best person to answer your question about that, but maybe some of the other people on Instagram will address your question and talk about it in the chat. But since I'm a kind of a person that I'm a spiritualist, I work with my spirit guides, and my spirit guides are my advisors and teachers and the ones that kind of tell me where to go and what to do and what I can work with. I really kind of don't work with shadow work per se. That doesn't mean I don't address shadow sides of things. That means, that there's areas, of course, we don't ignore the shadow side of anything. There's appropriate workings for different situations. So I don't have any judgment about it, or people that tend to work in that area, or myself, my own work in that area. But it's not kind of my 95% of my work is not involved with any kind of shadow work or secretive work or work that's cursing work or anything like that. So none of my work is cursing work, but yeah, it's not how I roll. So that's what it is, and how you get started. Maybe there's someone who can help you on the chat, or but I'm probably not the best person to address that question. Sorry. All right, so looking over at YouTube, Queen Dawkins. There's a queen. Hello, Your Majesty. Hello, hope all is well. Question: what do I do after I'm done burning a candle for with a petition paper under it? It was for protection. So you want to know what to do with the petition paper? You want to know what to do with the candle? You want to do with both? So let's talk about all the possibilities for that. If you have a petition that you have put directly under a candle, it will be a big blob of candle wax and paper at the end, potentially, or the paper might burn. So you'll have something at the end, some remnants, some spell remains at the end that you have to deal with. So there's a lot of things that you can do with those. You can take them to a crossroads. You can bury them on your property. You can bury them on someone else's property. You can dispose of them in a trash can. You can dispose of them in someone else's trash can. You can take the wax remnants if you've made a spell with beeswax candle, and you can take those remnants and reform them into something else. There's all kinds of things that you can do. I have a really, really, really helpful guide. If you go on to my website, Parlor of Wonders, and you go under instruction, if you go to Candle How-To Guide, How-To Guides, and you go to the Candle How-To Guide, it'll tell you all the things that you can do with a candle once it is complete. I'm working on that right now, by the way, writing 2 books: beginning candle magic book, advanced candle magic book, working on the manuscripts right now. Those should be out later in the year. I'm going to probably, my goal is to be putting those out myself and have those available quickly. So that's what I'm working on. We'll talk more in depth in that book, but I do have a free candle how-to guide that's up on my site that will tell you about that. If you're interested in taking your candle wax remains, you have a beeswax candle that you worked with and you want to make a talisman of some kind, I have a video up on my how to showing you how to turn those candle wax remains into a talisman. You take a hair dryer or a heat gun, you heat up that wax, and then you can mold it into something like a little ball or a little shape or something, and turn it into something else that you can then put on your altar or put into a mojo bag or do that. Now, you don't have to do that with all the wax. I think sometimes people think, hey, if I'm going to make a talisman, I have to use all the remnants, all the leftover wax. You don't have to use all the leftover wax. You can just take a piece of it and make that talisman. And what happens when you do that? You're carrying over that energy of your candle spell into your mojo bag, into your altar, keeping it with you, carrying it with you, putting it somewhere special or whatever. You're carrying that energy with you, but you don't have to have all of the wax to do that. So things that you can do: recycle, reuse, repurpose that wax into a talisman. You can leave it at a crossroads. And then what I mean by that is that you find a place where 2 roads intersect. It could be 2 roads, or it could be like an X like that, or it could be a Y intersection. but you find an intersection of some kind, or T intersection, find an intersection of some kind, and you leave all the remains of your spell work there. All right, so that's talking about the whole remnants of a spell. If you're just talking about the petition paper. So if you're doing something with a petition paper only, you're like, what do I do with this petition paper after my spell work is done? You have that petition paper underneath your tray, for example, and you have this paper when you're finished. You can carry the paper with you. You can put the paper somewhere in your house. You can, I mean, this is a protection spell. If it's a personal protection, you can carry it with you. If it's something for your general whole thing out there, your house and everything else, you can put it somewhere in your house. Another beautiful thing you can do with petition paper is you can burn that petition paper and take the ashes of what you burned and then sprinkle it around your property, or you can add it to something else. You know, you can put that on, put it into an oil, or you can add it to another spell, or there's millions of things that you can do with that. So sprinkle it into a plant, the dirt of a plant, and then water that plant and take care of that plant. There's all kinds of things you can do with that, but that's a beautiful way to do that. If you're doing something that you're sort of putting out there in the world, you can burn the ashes of that petition paper and then let the wind carry it away. Maybe you are wanting, for example, to find a new love, or to bring some new opportunity or some fame or some success or something like that, and you really want it to happen out in the world. You could take those ashes out on a windy day and release those ashes out so that they go out into the world. So that's another nice way to work with petition paper. So keeping it with you, burning it, working with the ashes, lots of options for you to do with just the petition paper. All right. Looking at, this is great. So Oak Made Me Human had a question for me that she direct messaged me, and I said, oh, this is such a great topic. Please, please, please bring it up in the Q&A. And you're here and you did it. So her question is from our conversation about Nipsey Hussle. So as you guys probably have heard 10, 15 days ago, Nipsey Hussle was murdered. He was killed. Beautiful man, beautiful soul, was doing, as a person in Los Angeles, he was definitely this leader in Los Angeles about creating a beautiful artistic environment, really raising up Black culture. He was really this amazing entrepreneur. He was an artist. He was, spiritual, conscious, aware, just a beautiful human being. And he was just mowed down and murdered. So she asked me, can spirit guides or ancestors abandon you, and then you don't have your guardians around you and then you get killed? And are spirit guides or ancestors not ubiquitous? All right. So that gets into the question of life and death. And we're talking about this idea of what happens, why do people die? Why does someone who's such a beautiful soul, who's creating so much good in the world, get murdered and killed, and we lose that beautiful bright light in this world too soon? We feel like that's too soon. So that's really a very deep and amazing spiritual question, the kind of question that I talk to my guides about often, about existence. And as a spiritualist and a person who knows about multiple lifetimes and what happens to the spirit is never destroyed. So when we talk about what happens to humans in their lifetime, conceptually, what they've shown me is that when you come into a lifetime, it's like the analogy is when you get up in the morning, you put on your clothes for the day, you put on your outfit for the day. And that's the outfit you're going to wear as you go about your day and you do your whole thing. And then when it gets to be nighttime, you put on your pajamas, or you take off your clothes, or whatever you do at night, put on your t-shirt and boxers, whatever you're going to wear to go to sleep in. And then you go to sleep. Those clothes that you've taken off, you put in the hamper, or you hang them up again, or you do whatever with them. But you don't have a feeling when you take off your clothes at night, oh my gosh, that outfit is over and I've lost that outfit forever. you know that when you go to sleep, you're going to wake up again. The next day, you're going to put on another outfit again. So you could wear the same outfit. You could wear a different outfit. You could dress up. You could dress down. You could, wear something crazy or wear something subdued. You've got lots of options for you. And they say this analogy is very appropriate in understanding what happens to us through multiple lifetimes. From the soul's perspective, the soul is never destroyed. And so from the soul's perspective, you come to this lifetime with an outfit that is uh, like that's your outfit. And in your experience, there are things that happen that are that lead to chains of events, right? So it may what I'm getting when I talk to them about Nipsey Hussle and what his whole thing was and why his death happened as it did, that what our purpose is as the people who carry on is to carry that light and to do something with that light. When we lose someone, anyone, when we lose someone who was important to us, when we lose someone who was a force of good in the world, who was a person that we admired or a person who was doing something, we're meant to then, it's meant to be an activation for us to carry on that light. It's not that there was some kind of predestination with his death. There wasn't like, oh, well, he did all he could do and that's the end. Nothing like that. Most definitely, had the circumstances been different, he would have lived. If he'd not been standing outside and, that guy hadn't been, who he was, or something had intervened, there could have been an intervention. But from the soul perspective, him passing, his soul is in pure positive energy right now. His soul is in a place of like perfection. So it's not as if he lost anything. His partner, his kid, the people, his family, the people around him, all of that, that's where the loss we experience, that distancing and that loss. But from his perspective, from spirit form, there was no loss. So understanding that if there's to be a meaning or a purpose to what happened, to this bad circumstance of what happened, the meaning or purpose comes from us transforming our pain, transforming our what we know about him into something good, into something powerful, into something good. We're meant to carry on that light. No one lives forever. No one lives past 120 years old, if anyone even lives that long now. I think the oldest person ever is like 112, 115. So you're meant to be a force of light, and each and every one of us is meant to be a force of light. You're meant to be that force of light, and no one person is a source of all light. We're meant to take what he was doing and to carry that on, to have an awakened, maybe there's this kind of earthquake tower energy, awakened consciousness by the shock of losing him, that will activate in some people some real transformation. So what we don't want to do is just go, oh, well, he died, and not all of the work that he did is going to die with him. That is the absolutely wrong response to anybody passing, is to just go, oh, well, all right, so that now is gone. It's not gone if we can carry that light with us. What are we going to do? How are we going to activate that light that he brought into the world, and how are we going to carry it on? I always say it's like being an alchemist. When you're an alchemist, the alchemists back in medieval times were trying to turn lead into gold. So how are you going to turn that lead into gold? How are you going to turn the lead of the loss of someone into something amazing? You're not going to get rid of the lump. You're not going to get rid of the loss, but you can turn that loss around into something that actually is even bigger and better. I think an amazing example of these kinds of things that happen, I mean, like if you look at the story of Jesus is a great example. So Jesus was one person, and then he died, and then because of his death, he activated around him people that became very charged in Christ consciousness, right? That were carrying the light of that, what he brought to earth down in a huge way. So how are you going to carry the light of Nipsey Hussle with you into activating and making our world a better place? What has he taught you that you can do? That you can do some change, or you can have some awakening, or you can have some effect on the world that's a positive effect, just like he did. We each have within us the power to make a change, whether that's on a little scale or a big, a big stage and a big platform. We all have that ability. So the point of it is not to say, oh, his light is snuffed out now, but how do I take that light and then carry it myself? How do I become that in the world that I saw in him that was so admirable? What can I do to make the world a better place, a more equitable place, a place of fairness, and a place of enlightenment? How can I do that? And whatever way you choose to do that, whether it's being an artist, being a speaker, being a spiritual leader, being a whatever, being a political leader, however you can do it, then that's your mission to go out and do it. So to address that question, were his guides around him? His guides are always around him. His guides he's with his guides right now. The guides aren't there to, like, they're not like a Superman that's meant to stop a bullet. It's like they're there in all stages, because we all are going to go at some time. He went way too soon. There's no doubt about that. But it's not like his guides left him stranded. Oh, and then this horrible thing happened to him. There's a purpose and a meaning behind what happened to him that we can do something with. It should never be a meaningless death. It should never be his light was snuffed out and now that's gone. All of us have to take the people that we love, the people that we care about, the people that are leaders, the people that we admire, and carry their light with us and make our version of that, our individual version of that. So I hope that answers your question. It's a profound thing. Loss is really profound. It's not, I'm not just saying, oh, well, whatever. It's profound, but it's what you do with that loss. It's what you do with that energy, how you transmute it, how you change it, how you create it. That's what magic is all about. Transmutation, changing something, molding something, turning lead into gold. And so that's what you do with the loss of some amazing leader, that you go, I love what he was doing. I have to carry that on. How can I carry that on? What can I do to carry that on? All right. So let's see. Hey, Three Coast Conjure. Hey, you guys. Three Coast Conjure are amazing, amazing makers of, I love, by the way, the dragon's blood soap that Three Crows Conjure makes is amazing. I like that smell. I'm addicted to that smell. Defeng Su says, do you need to work with a deity to do magic? No, magic is its own practice. You could be an atheist magician. You could be a Christian magician. You could be a Greek pantheon magician. You could be a pagan magician. You could be anything. You could be an agnostic, an atheist, whatever. So magic is just the force of creating something to your will, using spiritual energy to create something for your will. So whatever your spirituality is, you can use that as a sort of a platform for that, or use just, the energy of nature. One of the things that, I kind of compare it to is like, well, the Jedis in Star Wars, were working with spiritual energy, but there was no deity that I am aware of, unless they were playing a Jedi mind trick on me. I don't remember there being any specific deity that they were working. They were working with the spirit of nature, or they were working with the universe, or whatever. I mean, I like to call that force, or whatever you want to call it, the universe or spirit, but it's not a specific deity. And I'm working with any specific deity. So the answer is no. Okay, so what do we have going on Vita Perfect on Instagram says, how does one cleanse their chakras? Is sage an efficient enough tool? There are so many things that you can do to clear energy. If you clear chakra energy, if you're aligned toward that, if you're thinking about that, if that's like your interest, or that's what you want to work with, there are tons and tons and tons and tons of ways of working with that. You could use sage. I wouldn't that wouldn't be my first go-to, particularly for working or clearing that. I think there's a lot of other things that are more effective, because you're working with something
non-material in that sense. It's a spiritual, energetic point in your body, not a physical thing that you're clearing and cleansing out. One of the ways that people sometimes work with clearing out their chakras is that they'll use a pendulum. So pendulum is something that's heavy, that's on a weighted thing, that's on a string or a chain, right? I have a pendulum video up on how to use a pendulum to say yes, to tell you yes and no from your intuition. You can also use a pendulum for connecting to your guides. Pendulums are amazing. But you can also use the pendulum as a tool for clearing and cleansing chakras, right? So you hold a pendulum over the different chakra points on your body, which I'm not going to get into all of that because that's a whole hour in itself to talk about the chakras. But you'd hold that pendulum. Someone would have to hold that pendulum, or you could, I guess, do it over yourself maybe, but much easier if someone's doing it over you. You're lying down on a bed. They're holding over your chakras. The chakras will show up. If they're blocked, the pendulum will swing in a counterclockwise motion for most people. And if they're clear, they'll swing in a clockwise motion, right? So you just hold it over each chakra, and you can clear it by holding that pendulum over it until it starts going in the clockwise motion. Just holding the pendulum over it. If you use a pendulum that's a stone with an a gemstone pendulum, that can be really, really effective. Clear quartz is great for cleansing and clearing in that way. It's a clarifier. It's kind of the universal clarifier. That's a great way of working. Nothing to say you can't work with sage. You could try working with sage, but sage wouldn't be my go-to. It doesn't really, to me, it doesn't really feel like it's addressing the issue. It feels, like it's sage is for a lot of things. One of them being clearing out a space. But I don't even know that it's the strongest for that even, it's a more of a ceremonial herb that's in, some Native American cultures, the West Coast, in particular, Southwest, we find sage being used, and it's used in different ways. So sage has become very popular as a kind of universal cleanser. And I think it's good, but it's also good for other things too. And there's definitely other things that can be, I think, more effective in clearing your chakras. And having somebody do that with a pendulum is one of the best ways I know of doing that, really clearing that energy out. Okay, so let's see. Oh, Nora says, I wish I could go to England. Well, if you wish it, do a spell for it. You can do it. There was a time that I was wishing I was going to England, and now I'm here. So you can do it. Acha Bacha, can you please tell me the devices to contact with ghosts? All right. Talking about connecting to spirits. So I call them spirits. If you want to connect to spirits, I'm not sure if you're wanting to do like spiritualism, which is connecting with spirits like a medium does, or if you're wanting to connect to actual physical manifestations of ghosts. But I'm going to assume the former rather than the latter. One of the best ways is with a talking spirit board. Talking spirit board is like sometimes called a Ouija board, but the Ouija board is like the brand name, and then talking spirit boards are all different variations of that. It's a beautiful way of connecting with spirits, and you can ask, for physical manifestations if you want to have the physical manifestations, if you want to see that. You can go to places that there's lots of spirit activity. If you wanted to, if you were somebody that's like a ghost hunter or paranormal investigator, you can go to places where there's lots of spirit activity. You could connect anywhere though with this talking spirit board. That's a great way to do it. I have if you're just wanting to connect to your spirit guides or to spirits, not like seeing a ghost, I'm not sure if that's what you want, to see a ghost, but if you want to connect to just spirit guides in general, you could go to my website, and I have up there my podcast on YouTube. It's on YouTube, and it's also on my website under instruction. Go to my podcast, and there's podcast episode 11 and 12 or 10 and 11 are about connecting to your spirit guides, if that's what you mean. But if you wanted to see physical manifestations of ghosts, I would start with talking spirit board. By the way, anybody working with a talking spirit board, here's what I would recommend that you do. I always kind of forget to tell people this handy tip, extremely handy tip. When you're working with spirits, there's all kinds of spirits out there. You want to invite in spirits at the highest vibration, spirits that are going to give you clear information, that are not tricky or not goofing around. And so you ask for only spirits of the highest vibration. Spirits are going to give you clear messages, and spirits are going to give you helpful messages. That's like a gatekeeping device to keep out any spirits that are going to say crazy things or kind of mess with you or trick you or anything like that. So people go into like, oh, I'm just going to do a Ouija board, and they get in there and then they get all kinds of disturbing messages or crazy things happen. And it's because they don't put that energy of that gatekeeping, and it's like leaving your front door open and allowing anybody to walk into your house. You don't do that. So why are you going to work with any old spirit that just is around? You want to work with spirits that are high vibration, spirits that are going to be helpful. All right. So hopefully that'll be helpful. I'm not a paranormal investigator. I'm a spiritualist. So I tend to move in that direction. Paranormal investigating people might have more answers for you about how to see manifestations and stuff like that. I just don't really work that way. So, all right. Let's see what we've got on Instagram. Oh, Schizosaurus Rex says, thank you. You're so welcome. Oh, hi, Melinda. Metaphysical's on. Coastside Conjures on. Hi. Hi, American Rebel. All the usual suspects are here. Hi, you guys. Okay, Dirt Witch 84 says, if you have a deity trying to connect to you, what's the best way to find out who they are? Again, either you can go get a reading with someone who is a spiritualist and works with spirit guides. I do that work. I connect to spirit guides. And I have clients that I connect with. And I will be doing readings again starting in May. So if you want to make an appointment, probably do it now if you're thinking about it. But you can go to someone who specializes in connecting to spirit guides and connecting to your spirits, and you can discuss what's going on, and you can get some guided information about that. But if you want to do it yourself, a great way to do it is to, well, gosh, if you go to those 2 podcast episodes that I was talking about, there's a ton of things that you can do to connect to your guides. But the one thing that comes to mind is really doing automatic writing. And automatic writing is super simple, very easy to do, very, very powerful thing to do. You get a piece of paper or a notebook, spiral notebook, or notebook, or whatever you want. And you take 2 different pens, or a pen and a pencil. You're going to take one pen and write your question out. Then you're going to take the other pen or pencil, the other color pen or pencil, and you're going to write what your spirit guides have to say to you. So it's like, hi, I want to connect to my guides that are of the highest vibration, that are going to give me clear messages and that are going to give me helpful messages. Hi, you guys, how are you? And pick up your other pen and they'll say what back? Hey, how's it going? Or whatever they're going to say to you, right? What you want to do is at first you're going to feel or sense that it's like, am I making this up? You're going to question it, because it's like you're going to let it flow and then you're going to question it. This happens to everyone in any realm that if they haven't always been working their whole life, when they first start to work with their intuitive guidance, when they first start to work with guides, everybody questions these messages that they're getting, right? It's not a message that you're getting like you're hearing something in your head or hearing something out there. It's like in your mind's ear, you're getting a message, and you write that out. So whatever comes, just write it out without judgment. Refrain from judging it. Refrain from going, is this just me making it up? Just say, okay, well, whatever. If it's just me making it up, let it go, and just keep going and see what they have to say to you. Once you start that dialogue, and somehow the automatic writing, just what comes to mind, is quite a powerful thing for opening up that dialogue, where you can get that very specific information, find out what your guides have to tell you, including who they are, what deity they are, what they're asking of you, what they would like you to do, and so on. So that's a great tip for doing that. You can hear more about it if you listen to my podcast, those 2 podcast episodes about working with your spirit guides. You can hear more about doing that kind of working and get more of an idea of it, what it's about. Okay. All right. So, let's see. My friend lives in Marseille. Will you be anywhere near there when you're in France? No, I'm going to just be in Paris. I'm not going down to Marseille, although Marseille is beautiful. That's on the south coast of France. It's a beautiful place, but it's like 3 hours away from where I'm going to be. And I'm just popping in for a minute to Paris, visiting a couple friends, and then popping back out again. All right.
Um, let's see. See what we got here. Um, Nikki Ilovsky is asking, will you do online teaching for Sacramento? I'm just going to be doing in-person class on candle magic. I eventually may do an online class, a candle magic online class. That could happen. I'm not going to say it's not happening, but right now what I'm working on is the book, and I need the book first. Then teaching the class will be super easy because you'll have the book there. So you need to have the textbook before we can do the online class. So hoping to get that out soon. Um, all right, so what do we have going on Instagram? Hi, Avon Lady. So many cute friends here. Hi, Chaidata. Hi, how are you? Chaidata's always commenting, so cute. Chaidata 67 says, how does hoodoo practice affect our everyday life? Well, hoodoo, magic, and all of that stuff, if we do, it affects our life in whatever way we use it. We can use magic every day really easily. I mean, that's the kind of person that I am. It's that I do a little magic every day. Like, I'm going to give an example. I brought with me a couple of oils, and one of the oils I brought with me is Open Roads oil. Why did I bring Open Roads? I'm traveling. I just posted about this on Instagram. Brought Open Roads oil because I want to have smooth experience, right? Opening up opportunities, removing blocks, but it can also be used as a travel aid when you're going from place to place. You don't want to miss your flight or miss your train or have a hitch or have some confusing mix-up happen. You want everything to be easy so that you can enjoy your vacation, right? So that's one of the oils that I brought with me is Open Roads oil so that I could have that experience. So I put it on every day. Everything's super easy breezy, having a great time, amazing things are happening, seeing amazing things, having fun. It's all good. So there's an example of using hoodoo in my everyday life. I use attraction oil. I use energetic purification oils. I use all kinds of stuff every day, and it's the easiest thing in the world. It takes literally 5 seconds to do, right? I'm not doing candle spells. I'm on the road. I can't do a candle spell while I'm on the road. I guess I could if I really wanted to, but I don't have time for that. I'm having fun. So I do my oil work. I do my cleansing work. I do my intentional work. I do my meditation. I do my focus. I do my setting my intention for what I want each day. Those are things that you can do. It can be part of your everyday life, just like any practices, any spiritual practice can be part of your everyday life, and it really can transform your life. So there's an example. Just use an oil, put it on yourself every day. Super easy, can change your life. All right. Nora says, I have a question. Is he falling in love with me? That is a question for a reading. We're doing a Q&A that's about how to do magic and stuff like that. So Nora, that's a question you would have to ask in a reading or something like that. You could certainly do a reading for yourself. Look at my video on how to work with a pendulum and ask that question of your guides or ask that question of your intuition and see whether it tells you yes or no. Instant gratification with the pendulum. That's what I love about it. You don't need to learn anything, memorize anything. You don't need to rely on someone else. You can get an answer with the pendulum. So watch my video about how to do a pendulum, ask your question and see what answer you get. All right, let's see what we got going on Instagram. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for coming in the afternoon. Melinda says, Metaphysical says, can't wait to see you in Dallas. Yes, I'm coming to Dallas in June. Super excited about that. I'm going to be at Soultopia in Dallas. And are you interested in talking about the class you will be co-teaching? Yeah, absolutely. If you want to find out where I'm going to be, by the way, you can go to Parlor of Wonders. And by the way, you guys, sign up for my newsletter. Please sign up for my newsletter. The reason I say that is because number one, you will get an amazing 30 plus page book on 7 secrets, detailed secrets, 7 secrets to supercharging your spell work. So you get a free gift for signing up on my newsletter. I send a newsletter out very infrequently, although I'm trying to be better about doing it monthly. But in that newsletter, I'm telling you where I'm going to be and when. And I had something happen with Instagram that I wasn't very pleased with. They have new, rules and regulations that are coming down from on high in Facebook. I'm not sure how I feel about that. It's a little bit weird. Instagram has not been the greatest and is getting more Facebooky, and I'm
not really grooving with that. But I want to be able to keep in touch with you. And if Instagram goes away for some reason, I want to be able to for us to keep in touch. So please, 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 whatever you do when we're done here, when you're done with me, when you're done looking from, go over to parlorofwonders.com. Sign up for my newsletter. It takes 5 seconds to sign up. You'll get 5 little emails in the beginning telling you about what the services that I offer and all of that. They come over 5 days, and then you won't hear from me from like a month. It's going to be great. And then on that thing that I send out every month, I'm going to be telling you where I'm going to be. So there's new news coming up about the East Coast and all of that. So I want you guys to know about that and when and how to sign up for classes, and if there's going to be online classes and all of that stuff. So I want you to please, please sign up for that. So here's what's going on with Dallas. So I'm going to be coming out to Dallas with Jim Barker, and he's an amazing palmist, and he is Divine Hand Jim on Instagram and YouTube, I think, and everywhere. His Divine Hand Palmistry is his business divinehandpalmistry.com. I think it's palmistry.com, maybe, yes. If you Google it, it'll show up. He and I are going to teach a class in how the hands are in the tarot. The hands in the tarot tell a story. So you see all those figures of those people doing things in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and those hands have special meanings. So if you are interested in tarot, if you are interested in, going in depth into the symbolism, even if you're a beginner and you don't know anything about the tarot, you will still enjoy this class, because guess what? We sort of slipped something in there. You're going to learn about palmistry as you learn about these hands and what they mean. So even if you know nothing about tarot, you're like, I'm a beginner, I don't know anything, you will learn something about palmistry in this class, where we talk about the hands and the positions of the hands in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck and what they mean and how they reflect the meaning of the card. It's pretty, pretty, pretty mind-blowing when you find out there's a secret language of hands. You're going to learn about palmistry and about the different positions of hands and what they mean. What does it mean when I go like this? And what does that mean in terms of palmistry? What does it mean when I go like this in terms of palmistry? You'll learn that in this class. You'll also learn how those hands show up in the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot. And there's going to be an online palmistry tarot mashup class coming soon. Jim Barker's working on it right now. I think that's what he said he was doing. He's probably goofing off, having unicorn parties or something like that. But anyway, so there's going to be an online class. If you can't make it to the in-person class, but you could definitely come to that class. I'm also going to be teaching a tarot packet magic class. So how to make a magical tarot packet, like a kind of like it's like a mashup between a mojo bag and tarot cards, I guess you would say. It's a magical packet made from tarot cards. We'll be making those. I'll bring the cards. You don't even need to bring anything, just yourself and your creativity, your imagination. And we're going to be making these magical, magical packets out of tarot cards, which are mind-blowingly beautiful. And if you want to see them, scroll back into my Instagram a little bit and you'll see some examples that I put up. It's an amazing class. So I'll be teaching that there too. So come to Dallas. We'll be in July. We're going to be in Dallas in July. It's going to be really hot. I'm sure Soultopia is air conditioned though. All right. So, and you can find out. So I was going to go off on a little tangent. You can find, it's 8:00 here. I'm a little tired. You can find out where I'm going to be and what's going on as of this moment by going to my website, going to author/events, and you'll find out where I'm going to be, book signings, tarot reading in person in your town, classes I'm going to be teaching in your town, all of that stuff. Plus, please, please, please sign up for my email list, and then you'll find out right in your email box. You won't have to go over to the website. All right. Queen Circe, can we work magic with our own power and energies without working with spirits or deities? Absolutely, 100%. All these queens here today. I love it. Your Majesty, Queen Circe. This is like a royal tea party. Can we work magic with our own power and energy without working with spirits or deities? Yes, you can, with your own intention. So thought creates the reality, right? This is what I teach all the time, right? My whole jam is this. I'm a new thought spiritualist. So what does that mean? New thought means, like all that law of attraction stuff, you create your reality, your projection, your focus, your mind, your thoughts, and your action that follows that up all lead in one direction toward the
reality that you want, right? So, um, do you have to work with deities? No. Do you have to work with spirits? No. I'm a New Thought spiritualist. I love working with spirits. I'm like all about my spirit guides and all about everybody else's spirit guides. I love doing past life stuff. I love doing all of that stuff. But that doesn't mean you have to be like me. You can take the parts that work for you and leave the rest that doesn't work for you. If you're just into the magic and you're not into the spiritualism, that's all right. You do you. No problem with that whatsoever. So, but I do know from my own experience that the thought is the seed of the reality. This thought is what drives everything. So, it's not necessarily calling in, although if that is what you want to have support you, or you want to, call in a specific deity's assistance with something, there's nothing wrong with that. That's what I would call working with your spirit guides or working with your guides. Great. If that's your jam, great. If you're not into it, you're not feeling it, and you just want to do it purely on your own intention, that's great too. No problem. So I think that it's kind of interesting because that builds off that question we had a little while ago. All right. So, what do we have for Instagram before we go? We just got a few more minutes. Bethlyn 3 says, I want to start working with Elegua, but I am afraid that if I don't do something right or miss an offering, it will backfire. Advice. I don't work with Elegua. I don't know. And that would be something that you would have to find someone who's a devotee, find someone who works in that way, and, ask that question of somebody who works there. That's not how I work. So I don't know. I can't address that question. Get initiated. I think that's probably a good place to start, is to find, somebody who is an initiate or can initiate you into that practice, and then you start doing it. So that's probably where I would go with that if I were you. And I would recommend that. To work with your guides, if you're working with spirit guides, you don't need to be initiated, but there's all kinds of things that certain spirit guides that you need to sort of connect with in certain ways, definitely. But this sounds like something you need to do like a spiritual initiation for, as opposed to just like, I feel like working with so-and-so today. So, okay, hopefully that answered your question. All right. All right, so let's see what we've got on YouTube. Star J, hi, can you tell me if a person is stubborn, can Santa Muerte still bring them back? You're talking about a particular situation and a particular person in a particular circumstance. It really is not a question that is addressed on here. It's kind of specific to, probably you're asking about your stubborn person and if you can bring your stubborn person back with Santa Muerte. And that is a question for a reading. That's something that you ask one-on-one, because it's like your person you're asking about. Are you a devotee of Santa Muerte? Are you working with Santa Muerte? Have you, asked Santa Muerte if she's willing to work with you? Have you set up an altar? Have you made offerings? That's a whole other thing. It's not like, hey, Santa Muerte, take care of this mess. That's not how it works. So maybe there's a little more to that question, and probably a private one-on-one with somebody, a reader that you trust, myself or someone else, will probably give you a more specific answer about your situation, your person, and their stubborn energy, and whether they're going to come back or not. All right, so let's see what we got here. Hi, Cody Carr. Thank you so much. I'm tired today. We were walking around all day and standing all day in that British Music Experience Museum, which was so much fun. We had such a great time. But yeah, a lot of walking on this trip. I hope I'm skinnier, even though I'm eating jam tarts. I'm kind of hoping that this walking will cancel out the jam tarts. Do you think it works that way? I don't know. Oh, Cody says, I'll be in Dallas. I live there. Perfect. Come. Yes, I can't wait to hug you too. Perfect. Can't wait to see all you Dallas people. Oh my gosh, it's going to be amazing. Dirt Witch says, when making your own oils, how long can you keep your master jar before needing to redo it? So when making oils, it's super important. Oils go rancid. You need to use, this is a very practical thing. When you're making oils, you need to add a few drops of vitamin E oil to whatever your carrier oil is, just to keep it from going rancid, okay? Vitamin E oil, a little bit,
added to your carrier oil, sweet almond oil, jojoba oil, apricot kernel oil. Apricot kernel oil is what's in here, which is the cosmetic grade of apricot kernel oil, by the way. Just a little FYI, with my oils, the oil, when you put it on, it is luxurious. If you're like a person with dry skin like me, I'm loving it. If you are a person with not dry skin, you have oily skin, you probably want a sachet powder. You wouldn't want to work with an oil anyway. But just on a cosmetic level, that apricot kernel oil, non-nut related. So if you have a nut allergy, it won't cause you any problems. And it is amazing in terms of like the absorption and how it smells amazing, of course, too. And magically, it's totally amazing. But so you're making your own oils. How long can you keep your master jar before you need to redo it? Essential oils eventually go bad. So I think your different essential oils that you're using it are eventually going to go away. I never keep a master oil and like keep pulling from it or keep pulling from it. It's always like a new oil coming in, new oil coming in, and oil going out into the different bottles. So some last a year, some last a couple years, some can last longer. It depends on the oil itself. I mean, we have things like aged patchouli essential oil that's like aged 9 years. That gets better as it gets older, but some of them don't get better as they get older. Some lose their scent, or the scent changes in some. I mean, definitely the scent changes even as aged patchouli oils. It gets a little more like rounded and kind of a little mellower as it gets older. So I would just sort of not continue to use that. I would use it up and then bring new in, if that makes sense. But main point of all that is vitamin E oil added to your carrier oil. Your carrier oils can go bad 6 months, 9 months, a year. Your carrier oils can go bad, and then it just smells like rancid oil, and it isn't nice. Magically, it probably would work still, but it doesn't smell nice. So it doesn't smell like old rancid oil. Not me. All right, you guys, I'm really tired. Too much walking around, too much rocking today. Walking and rocking. All right, you guys, let's see. One last one on YouTube, and then I think we're going to be done. Okay, are you accepting new clients? Star J, that's a great question. I am always accepting new clients. Clients can come to me anytime. I have openings. You can book your own openings. Go to parlorofwonders.com. You can find, if you go to services, you can find readings, and you can book a reading anytime. I'm always accepting new clients. I love my clients. I always put out an energy that the clients that come to me are the people that I can help, that I can be helpful to, that I can be of service of, and that we have an enjoyable experience working together. And guess what? I have amazing clients, you guys. And not even just clients, you guys that are here today are top notch, primo, the best, A100, A number one. That's because I put out that intention. And then what do I get? I get amazing things like you guys, amazing things. I am no slouch when it comes to magic. And you are living proof of that. So thank you so much for joining me. Yes, I accept new clients. You can, anytime you want to have a reading, anytime you want me to do some spell work for you. I'm not doing spell work right now. I'm not doing readings right now because I'm on vacation, but maybe beginning of May, I'll be back. I'll be working hard. So come on in. Let's have a reading together. Let's do some magic together. Regardless, I won't see you next week. I'll see you in 2 weeks on the 28th. I'll see you then. Have a beautiful, beautiful, if you celebrate Easter, have an amazing Easter. Have an amazing Easter week. I love you guys so much. Have a great 2 weeks, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Same time, because it'll still be April. I'll still be here. I'll be in London. I'll be back from Paris. And so I'll see you then. It'll be noon Pacific time, 1 p.m. Mountain time, 2 p.m. Central time, 3 p.m. on the 28th. East Coast time. All right. And then once we're back in May, we'll be back to the 5 p.m. Pacific, the later time again, because I'll be awake. It won't be 3 a.m. for me anymore. It'll be 5 p.m. It's easier than that. All right, you guys, have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful 2 weeks. I'll see you then. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much for your amazing questions, your smart, intelligent, beautiful questions. I love you guys so much. You make my heart happy. So happy to see you here. So happy to see you wherever I see you, on comments, on Instagram. That's where I am mostly. I'll post some more funny pictures. I just posted my last picture, I think, is pretty funny. If you're a David Bowie fan, You want to know what a bad David Bowie fan I am? I think I'm a really good David Bowie fan, but I proved in that picture what a bad David Bowie fan I am. Or that I don't have a photographic memory. Either one, not so great. So thanks again, you guys. Have a gorgeous, gorgeous 2 weeks, and I'll see you on the 28th at those times. Bye. Bye. Okay. All right. Bye, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.